Hello, everyone. Jess here from Kidney Nutrition Institute. Thank you for joining us live today. Today, I have a special guest, and that is Val Hannahs. Now, Val Hannahs is a registered dietitian, renal nutrition expert, and she has a really special job, which is why we've asked her to be here today. So, she is the director of renal nutrition at Panoramic Health, which is an organization that works with nephrology offices and helps support them. So she has a really, really important job at helping nutrition get into doctors' offices and support a very large population. And she's been in this field. How long have you been in the renal field, Val?
15 years, I think.
Okay, yeah, so a long time. So she has seen it all at this point. Anyway, so Val, thank you for joining us today and welcome.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here. Excited about today.
Yeah, it's great to have you. So today what we're going to be talking a little bit about is some of the new legislation that's going into place that we feel like is going to really change the game when it comes to nutrition being a fundamental part of the care in the kidney space. One of the things, and maybe some of our viewers have experienced this, but a lot of times what I've heard from patients is that they go in, they have this diagnosis of chronic kidney disease, and they ask their doctor about what they can do. You know, can I see a dietitian? Is there someone I can work with? And many people, they're not even given the option of seeing a dietitian. The doctor doesn't know who to refer them to. There isn't anyone local. And they just are left to kind of the wild west of the internet to figure it out. And I hope with some of the big changes that are happening at the top that's going to change. So have you heard that same story ever, Val, with people trying to find someone to help them out?
Yes, absolutely. 100%. We have it with patients that we work with now. Some of them have a little more guidance than others, but for the most part, most of them are just say, yes, I was told to, not eat salt. And so that's about it. That's about the length that they get. So
yeah, a lot of people are looking for a lot more. Okay, so first question, before we dig into just a little bit about some cool things that are changing, is from your opinion, you're now seeing kind of a bird's eye view of a lot of patients in the kidney care space. How are you seeing, and what is the attitude even from the physicians? What are you seeing with nutrition making a difference for patients in either hospitalizations or improving their quality of life, or preserving kidney function so that they can stay off of dialysis as long as possible?
So that's a really great question. In our space, that is the whole focus. So with the Kidney Care Choices model, we're focused on optimizing dialysis starts, slowing the progression of kidney disease, which we all know, hopefully most of us know, that nutrition plays a really vital role in that. And so what we're experiencing thus far is with the patients that are motivated and working with the dietitians that we have available, even just making some of the smallest changes to their diet over the course of time is, we're seeing rises in GFR levels. So that's kind of a big one that we see kind of off the bat. But more so, hospitalization and rehospitalization is always a focus, whether you're in, just the normal hospital setting or if you're on the ESKD setting. So with our CKD patients, it's still a really, really big focus, right? We want to prevent malnutrition, and we know that plays a huge role in keeping patients out of the hospital. So we have seen, I wouldn't say I have numbers just yet on actual percentages, but we do see where interventions are made if patients hospitalized. Oftentimes they've never had nutrition, any sort of medical nutrition therapy, and giving them even just a little bit of encouragement and guidance on, how much protein they could be eating, and just kind of cleaning up their diet a little bit more plant-based foods and things like that, actually is really to help keep them out of the hospital, reducing sodium intake, managing their fluid better. Fluid overload and hyperkalemia are ones that we see patients get hospitalized for the most frequently. So those are very simple changes they can make and stay out of the hospital. As far as just improving overall quality of life. Just the base small changes of reducing processed foods,
Mm-hmm.
and encouraging good whole food plant-based type nutrition. We see that patients overall, right, do better. And we know as clinicians that they tend to, if when they're able to go out and have the energy to do the things that they enjoy, whether it's playing with grandkids, whether it's going out for a walk, whether it's doing their daily activities, gardening, whatever that might be, that improves their quality of life. And so making that connection that improving their nutrition will improve their energy levels, along with helping them like get better sleep, encouraging that, and decreasing stress. All of those things work together to help improve that quality of life. But we really do see benefits from that.
And that is huge. Like, and these are not like massive changes you're talking about. These are little changes, and no one wants to be in the hospital. So preventing that, amazing.
Yep.
Being able to have more energy, being able to feel like it's making a difference. You're not on the slippery slide to dialysis. To me, those are huge pieces. And the other thing that I was thinking about too is that because so many people feel confused about what to eat with kidney disease, and the internet's a pretty bad place to find information, is that I find that when people get clarity, their quality of life improves because they suddenly are able to have so many more foods that they thought they couldn't have. And talk about preventing malnutrition. If you're not in the little tiny scared, I'm scared about what to eat, so I'm only going to eat a couple things. When you're out of that box and you can start eating more of the foods that you love, I think that not only improves quality of life, but it improves outcomes too.
Absolutely.
Okay, so tell me, you're in a really really cool place to see some changes in the legislation. Tell us just a little bit about what was some of the big legislation shifts, the reimbursement shifts that are coming to doctors and nephrologists that potentially could impact nutrition becoming a much higher priority than it has been in the past.
Yeah. I mentioned before the Kidney Care Choices model. So that is the model that CMS has put together. For those who maybe have been in the ESKD setting, there is a similar type of model. It's a QIP, or quality incentive type program. This is very different in the fact that all of the benefits is about slowing the progression of kidney disease, having optimal dialysis starts, and preventing those hospitalizations and those types of things. But the key is to be able to provide as much service and value in care that we can to patients to accomplish those things. So to reduce the hospitalizations. So there is a lot more kind of like wiggle room in the value-based care space to be able to help provide patients and link them to additional resources that perhaps you couldn't do for patients who are on dialysis because of limitations there, or for patients who aren't within that model. So with these types of models, they get evaluated, and if there's success, which we're seeing success, right? When there's success behind it, then oftentimes those get rolled out and into bigger programs that then are available for all patients, right? The Kidney Care Choices model right now is for the Medicare patients. That's the base group that I consider them kind of like the test pilot area. So we're testing this out. Let's make sure this is of true value for the patients, and we see that it's a win-win. It's a win-win for the physicians, and it's a win for the patients because they're getting more resources. They're getting a whole care team at their fingertips, and that will change, right, things into more preventative, which is what I think all of us want to see, and where nutrition is at the forefront, and where nutrition is going to make the biggest impact.
That's amazing. So, I mean, historically, without getting into the nitty gritty, historically, the model of people that were getting paid to help people with kidney disease, doctors are paid by Medicare, doctors are paid by insurance companies, et cetera, and organizations that support doctors. In some of the old legislation, really unintentionally, it was incentivizing dialysis more or less. And so
Right.
a lot of the model, and this is how I think patients have felt too, is it's just like, hey, we'll help you as soon as you get close to dialysis. But if you want to prevent going on dialysis, we'll just follow you. We don't really have things. And the new KCC, this Kidney Care Choices, which is a reimbursement model for Medicare, it is changing it so that there is so much more incentive for doctors. And that means that all the people that support them, right? The practice managers, just everyone, the whole system now turns their head and they say, hey, we need to do everything we can to help patients not be on dialysis, which is what patients want anyway. So like to your point, it's just a win-win for every single person. It's something that's been long overdue, and I think it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going to happen? I don't know. Maybe this is, what do you think is going to happen? This legislation's gone into place. Of course, Medicare kind of does this test pilot, but I still feel like it filters into everything, all of the care. So tell me just a little bit how you think that's going to change things for a kidney patient. What are they going to see that they maybe wouldn't have seen 5 years ago?
I think as this progresses, right, in the very beginning stages, we're still up against, like you just mentioned, that kind of old fee for service. Well, I don't want to touch that yet. I don't want to scare the patient off dialysis. I don't want to mention dialysis yet. I think we're going to see patients educated at an earlier stage. We're going to see patients who have seen a dietitian. My hope is very, very early on. Stage 3 right now, our current population we're at, we still haven't been allowed or able to work with the stage 3 patients, CKD patients. But my hope is that it shows enough working with the stage 4 and stage 5 that we can then leap into having this program expand out to the earlier stages to really maximize the benefit. I think you're going to see an increase in obviously referrals to dietitians, which is a good space to be in. I think you'll see an increase in the utilization of plant-based diet, obviously to get that low protein intake, even perhaps the very low protein with like keto analogs, a kind of a bit of a keto kind of twist on it. I know you've seen that as well, just to get their calories in and that type of thing. But there's a lot of room for a lot of research coming up, I think, in that preventative space.
It's amazing, right? That just changes the game for patients, for everyone else. So cool. That is awesome. Thank you for giving us kind of that bird's eye view. It's something for patients you can look out for. And when you're asking about, referrals, more and more doctors will know where they can send people to. And it's something 100%. If you have kidney disease and you are confused about nutrition, find a dietitian to work with. I think it makes such a big difference for so many people, can prevent so many problems. Even some of our most proactive patients, they're pulling stuff off the internet and they come in and they're malnourished because they have, overly restricted things they didn't need to. And I just think putting the dietitian in that model early on is such a game changer for people. So it's exciting for a lot of people. Well, awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that with us today. Okay, so one quick last thing. Val, while being a renal expert, has a really strong interest in sports nutrition. And so I wanted her to share one of her favorite fitness tips with us at this end. It's kind of a side note, but, fitness and exercise is like one of the key components of health, and even for kidney disease, improving kidney function. So one of your favorite fitness tips that you have, just for fun?
So that is a great question. And I honestly, I have to really kind of think about that because I run the gamut of just everyday walking to doing triathlons. So I kind of run the spectrum of all types of workouts and fitness tips and things like that. The one thing I'm gonna say the one thing that I tell everyone, and this doesn't matter if you have a chronic condition or disease, or if you're an advanced athlete, is that not moving, even on days that we have kind of rest, there's a thing called like active rest. So
Yeah.
even for athletes, or anyone, my neighbor next door, the first thing I usually tell people is, if they're trying to either manage weight or just have good health, something that you can do from day one, from the day you're able to walk till the day you're able to maybe not, walk as well, as long as you can get up and move your body. But walking is honestly the one thing that we need to be up and doing every day, and at least get a, like they'll say, like a 5K a day, which is, five 3.2 miles, right? But to have 5,000 steps a day. So a lot of people wear kind of a step tracker, that type of thing, a pedometer, but just moving your body. So walking is one of the easiest and quickest ways to get up and get moving. My very close second, and really it's right up there with it, is resistance training. Like, get those two things in, and you will have a great benefit throughout your whole lifetime.
Amazing. I love it. Well, cool. Well, thank you so very much for joining me here today, Val. I loved your fitness tip. I 100% agree. Walk, get out in nature, fresh air, get your blood pumping. It's so good for all of us. Thank you for giving us a bird's eye view about the kidney care choices and what that's going to mean for nutrition and the positivity for patients in the future. Really appreciate you being here. For those of us who have joined us, you can, if you want more information about this topic, watch some of our other lives. You can go over to kidneynutritioninstitute.org. That is one place where you can work with a specialized dietitian, like we talked about, to be able to up-level your nutrition and really get a great plan in place. And you can work with us there. So thanks everyone for joining us. And until next time, bye-bye.